This pedestrian bridge has been the only path through construction for the past year. For many neighbors, it provides a close-up look at the $5.8 million bridge replacement that spans 67 feet wide. According to a 2008 USA Today study, researchers found that Bellevue Elementary is one of the most polluted schools in the nation. It just so happens that it's a mile upwind of the Radford ammunition plant down this street. Living wage campaigners are camped out in front of the rotunda here facing University Avenue. They are across the street from UVA President Teresa Sullivan's office in Madison Hall off to the right. Temperatures in Charlottesville have dropped into the low 40s, with even snow in the forecast. This leaves the question of exactly how long Occupy participants will last in these chilly conditions. One of their most popular items is the cookout tray. You can get an entree, 2 sides, and a drink for just $5. But you can also upgrade the drink to a milkshake for just $1 more. For those, the possibilities are endless. The residents of 2207 JPA literally walk out of their front door and into the middle of construction. Taking out the trash and pulling out of the driveway are simple tasks that are currently complicated by this project. Cars are rolling up this driveway to drop off the drugs. Officers and officials then approach the car and ask what zip code they live in and how they heard about the event. Between all the buzzing, rattling, and screeching, the JPA bridge construction in Charlottesville has been a stubborn nail in some neighbors' sides for the past year.
I think probably if I could pick a word to describe what it was like, it would just be confusing.
Sharon Lawler is a resident of 2207 JPA, a house pinned in the middle of the rubble. Construction work to replace the nearby 80-year-old bridge began after the structure was deemed in poor condition.
Within the first couple weeks, they set up this like a black kind of like plastic barrier, and ever since then it's just been like pushing back more closer and closer and closer to the house.
Though these problems have surfaced for those closest to the construction, city leaders say the change was necessary. This pedestrian bridge has been the only path through construction for the past year. For many neighbors, it provides a close-up look at the $5.8 million bridge replacement that spans 67 feet wide. But it does not provide easy access to some of the stores on the corner of JPA.
It affected my store more than anybody because I'm a convenience store, so it's no longer convenient.
Jeff Catlett has been the owner of JPA Fast Mart for 19 years. He says business has declined 60 to 70%, and they've received no money from the state.
I think it's going to be better than ever when it's over, but I still believe there should be some awareness brought to these projects that are affecting people's lives.
Some good news is the warm weather has allowed the bridge replacement to scoot about a month ahead of schedule. Construction is set to finish in September 2012. In Charlottesville, this is Amy Vu reporting.
What do we want? When do we want it? Yeah. What do we want? When do we want it?
UVA students in the Living Wage campaign are hunger striking in hopes that their demands will soon be met by university administration.
They told us that we can meet with them at 7:30 on Monday morning. I mean, besides the obvious problems with that is that would be day 10.
Living Wage campaigner Hallie Clark is one of the almost 24 students who have vowed to fast until every UVA employee is guaranteed a living wage of at least $13.
We just think that this is one of those things that will make this a better place.
Others participating in the hunger strike, such as first-year student Jamar Figueroa, have more personal roots to their motivations.
When the economy started going bad in 2008, my family started losing, my parents lost their jobs. Before we came to UVA, we filed for bankruptcy, lost our house, and finding a job that pays a living wage is something necessary.
Living Wage campaigners are camped out in front of the rotunda here facing University Avenue. They are across the street from UVA President Teresa Sullivan's office in Madison Hall off to the right. On day 6 of the Living Wage campaign's hunger strike, the midday rally ended up at the steps of President Sullivan's office. Hunger strikers spoke out to the group about their progress and purpose.
From the workers I talked to about the fast, they're really supportive. They're telling me to stay strong and that they're grateful that we're speaking up for them.
The living wage campaigners have a meeting scheduled with President Sullivan and other university administrators on Monday morning. That will mark day 10 of their fast. UVA has been sending out email notices throughout the strike alerting students about the risks and dangers of fasting.
Please, we need encyclopedias. We want reference books for teaching.
The Winneba Public Library project is rooted at the heart of Charlottesville's relationship with its African sister city in Ghana.
The specific goal of this project, this delegation, was to talk to people about building a public library, a new public library.
Nancy Damon was one of 12 members making up the 2011 Charlottesville delegation that traveled 5,300 miles to visit Winneba, Ghana. Among those that made the trip was Nana Garty, the vision behind this library venture.
The best thing for every child is to have an education. And to have an education, you have to have books. And to be able to use the books, you have to read. So, I came up with this idea that no, we will have to build a library.
It's been almost exactly a year since the group got its first glimpse of the project at hand. Along with visiting the plot of land set aside for this library in the making, the delegation spent time discussing planning and programming logistics.
Building's never just the building. There's programming in place. What's it going to house? What are the needs in the community? What are the needs for how many computers you're going to need? How many square feet of book space you're going to need? How many, your administrative offices? What's that going to look like?
Even though the progress with the project has been slow over the past 12 months, blueprints of the library are being updated and finalized. For Kelly Epley, that leaves the big question of how this building will be funded.
There's the vision, there's the program, there's the design of the building, then there's the building itself. And somewhere there, money needs to be raised as well.
Nana explained that a foundation is being formed to fundraise this library, a vision that truly links the sister cities.
I will have to find support from here to give the same opportunity that my parents gave me, give the same opportunity to people in Winneba.